This is Terry Howe from the Talkback Fans Podcast, and you're listening to the BBQ Central Show with the incomparable host, Greg Rippy.
Start the game! Let's go!
We'll do it live. Okay. Well, do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike the match, and... Oh! Should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
All right, good evening and welcome to the Really Big Barbecue Central Show. This is the show that talks about all things important to the world of barbecue and grilling. The show originating from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city, Bomb City, USA, Cleveland, Ohio, the barbecue capital of the North Coast. I am your program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you aboard here on your Tuesday evening's live fire fun and frivolity show. If you want to jump in the show this evening, or if you would like to follow the show during off-show hours, here's how you do all of that.
You can get in touch with the show by sending an email to Greg at BBQCentralShow.com. Follow us on all the social media channels at BBQ Central Show. And be sure to subscribe to the show podcast feed on your favorite podcast platform.
Anything else you want to find out about the show can be found at the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com. And here's what's happening in case you didn't get the newsletter. Coming up in about 12 minutes from now, however, sitting in for the entire show this evening, the pitmaster of Go Big or Go BBQ, Aaron Huntleman, is here this evening. There's Aaron right there. Aaron, how are you this evening?
Doing great.
Great to have you aboard here. So just lay out till we get to your proper segment. Then there'll be lots of conversating. And then you are, at that point, just sitting in on the show, guest hosting. Let's not say guest hosting. Peanut gallerying, if you will. So if you have questions you want to ask Derrick, which we'll talk about here in a second,
Yep.
Or, of course, we know what's happening in the second hour, you are going to be mandated to take part in all of the nonsense that's going to be going on in the second hour. So Aaron Huntleman sitting in during the show here this evening, and we will be talking with him next segment about a bunch of stuff, not the least of which is how he is helping pitmasters across the country cheat to win at barbecue competitions, and we'll talk to him about that a little bit later on. After Aaron's segment at 14 past, we will welcome back the fourth Tuesday of the month in the 35 past the first hour segment guest, creator of DerrickRiches.com, Derrick Riches. Aaron and I were talking before the show, and we couldn't remember, but we thought maybe remembered that we might have skipped Derrick last month. Derrick will remember. But now that I'm thinking about it, maybe we did. I don't know. It's not that Derrick is forgettable by any stretch of the imagination. It's just so much has transpired in the last 4 weeks. Sometimes I get a little hazy on who's shown up in their designated recurring slots and who I have had to usurp them with from a guest standpoint. So Derrick Riches, nonetheless, 35 past the first hour, that's for sure, and he's got a number of takes on a lot of the different topics we've been talking about here on the show over the last various weeks. And then we move to the second hour because it is the fourth Tuesday of the month, and in the second hour, it can only mean one thing. We refire the embedded correspondence segment, and as I just mentioned, Aaron Huntleman from Go Big or Go BBQ will also be sitting in. So we have a brand new sheet of 100% surety questions to go over. We also have changed the rules as of last month. So if a question requires deeper digging, in the past we have said, no, we're not going to do that. You just give me the yes or the no. We move on to the next question. We've thrown caution to the wind. We've realized over time, people want to know what's going on in our minds. How are we coming to this yes or no answer? And if it deserves to be drilled down into, then damn it, that's what we're going to be doing from now on. You can look forward to that in the second hour. We also have some other topics that we can dig deeper into outside of the 100% Assurity questions, not the least of which is what happens when you're using a great branded knife and it snaps in half? What happens then? We will talk about it potentially as time allows. So that's what's happening here this evening. Aaron Huntleman, all-show in-studio guest. I don't remember the last time we actually had an in-studio guest that wasn't related to me. And at last check, Aaron is definitely not related to me. And we have Derrick Riches, and then we have the embedded correspondents in the second hour. So that's how the show's shaking out. You can follow me socially, Instagram, X, TikTok, and Snapchat, all at BBQ Central Show. We say good evening to those of you watching through our video streaming platforms this evening, Facebook and Twitch/BBQ Central Show. You can also watch the show on YouTube, which is youtube.com/at BBQ Central Show. And we also have a YouTube poll question of the week. And this week I'm asking you, Offset Pits produce the best tasting barbecue that you can eat, yes or no? And currently, well, just like the poll ended last week that I didn't tell you about in a 50-50 tie, we are currently sitting at a 50-50 tie. Yes and no, all are agreeing and combating each other at the same time. So we will get Aaron's take here in just a second once we get him in his traditional segment or his own segment, whatever. Aaron's going to be coming on here in a few minutes. We're going to be talking, and I'll ask him as the lead question. So, Aaron, if you're not paying attention yet, that's the lead question this evening is Offset Pits produce the best tasting barbecue you can eat, yes or no? So we'll see what Aaron has to say about that. And we will update you through the show. We'll ask Derrick as well as the embedded correspondent. So let's start here this evening. I'm going to try and get ahead of the emails that came in and that are bound to come in from the Susie Bullock interview last week. Yes, there was a mic issue. Yes, it was noticeable. There is a reason that I didn't pull the plug on the whole segment, because after she reconnected, I could hear what I thought was a echoey kind of room, because last time she was on, she was in the same room. There was a similar echo. I didn't realize until after the not echo, but a big room noise. The trained ear can hear it, trust me. I know you heard it. But I didn't realize until after the segment when I was emailing back and forth with her husband, Todd, that the mic that you saw in the picture was actually suddenly not performing, and that he picked the computer mic in order to keep the segment going because there was no backup USB mic to install right on the spot. If she would have been in the closet with a bunch of clothes around her, it probably would have sounded 100% better than it did. And if it was a show without video, I would have told her to find somewhere like that to go, so we would have foregone all the echoing. We would have made it sound a little bit more compact, but I didn't know for sure if it was the mic or not, or if it was the room or not. So now I know. And we are also going to do a sound check before next quarter's visit just to make sure everything is right. I had given them a pass on sound checks before because this is the first time this has ever happened. Todd, usually a very technically savvy guy. So I forgive all of this just once, never again. Make sure it never happens again, Todd. Otherwise, you are going out. What this should show all of you that question my demand for a mic for all of my guests is how much better the production sounds if you have that microphone. If you listen to the first hour, Stephen Reichlin, Wes Wright, both sounded like they were right in studio with me, just like Aaron Huntleman from Go Big and Go BBQ was right in the studio with me, except Aaron is in the studio with me. Stephen was in Martha's Vineyard, and Wes Wright was in Detroit, but they sounded just like they were right here with me. Contrast that to the second hour. Susie ended up sounding like all the other shows who have guests, including national talk radio shows, who don't demand high-level audio from their guests. I still don't know why that is, but that's just the way it is. Feedback from fans on past shows. Tom in Kentucky writing, Mr. Rempe, Roger Daly of Blackstone was an absolutely incredible guest. Thank you for putting him on the show. I had no idea about that omnivore griddle plate that he had mentioned, and I also didn't know the biggest secret in the griddle industry is the warping of the plate when frozen food goes onto it. That was very enlightening. Love the show. Podcast only. Regards, Tom. Tom, what's even more exciting than that is I'm getting a Blackstone. Rule number 3 of the show. If it's free, it's me. Derrick posted on the Facebook show group page, after hearing Greg say all of the older shows are now available on all platforms, I have started listening to the shows from 2008. It is good to know that even way back then, he touts the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city of Cleveland, and yet he still maintains his record of not visiting there. Dare I say that he called in an anonymous tip to the TSA about Meathead's Rub being the bomb to keep that streak alive. You know what? You're not wrong. Derrick, you're not wrong. I'm not admitting to it, but I'm not saying that you're wrong. Lastly, Paul in Florida. Greg, I've heard you mention the Food Network barbecue shows various times over the past couple weeks, but did you know Season 2 of Barbecue Showdown released earlier this summer on Netflix, and it's a great watch. They included a large sand area with various contraptions competitors had to cook on, and they are more barbecue people cooking on than Barbecue Brawl. Enjoy your show. Thanks for your excellence and the production that you put in each week. Regards, Paul. Paul, I did know that. I am not watching that. There's a backstory to that, Paul, that I'm not going to bore you with at the moment. But there is a reason why I'm not watching it. For now. And I'm not saving it for the retirement home like John Solberg would. In case you didn't know, we have an in-studio guest, Aaron Huntleman. He'll be up here in just one moment. Before we get to him, I'm asking you this question aside from if Offset Pits produce the best-tasting barbecue you could ever eat. Are you tired of settling for mediocre grilling experiences? It's time to step up your game, bring the ultimate flavor and cooker to the backyard barbecues. Pits and Spits Charcoal Grills, offering the highest quality live-fire cooking experience you can get in the market today. Using either wood or charcoal, their solid fuel grills produce those classic flavors when you're looking for the time to fire up that grill with family and friends, or all family and friends. With a large adjustable fuel tray, you can raise and lower the fire to control that fine-tuned heat temp. This is their take on a Santa Maria-style grill, if you've seen those around the internet. Check them out online, pitsandspits.com/BBQ Central, and Pits and Spits is spelled with a double T. So that's the double T on the pitsandspits.com/BBQ Central, and use promo code Charcoal Central, all one word, Charcoal Central at checkout for $150 off any charcoal grill. And as we say each and every week, it's an heirloom piece. So you buy it now, you cry, but you're buying the best, or you're only crying once. Your kids will never cry. They'll cry from happiness when you bequeath it to them at your time of your ultimate demise. And then your grandkids will be even happier, shedding more tears because it's like, this was grandfather's. And then great, you'll pass it right down the line. It's great. Pitsandspits.com/BBQ Central, and $150 off when you use promo code Charcoal Central at checkout. We are back with Aaron Huntleman, the king of Mr. Brisket here in Cleveland. Stick around. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Show studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
Welcome back. This portion of the show being brought to you by cookinpellets.com, your number one source for quality wood pellets for all your pellet-driven cookers. You visit cookinpellets.com to see what they are selling, and then you go to Amazon.com or Lowe's.com or Walmart.com. Take advantage of all the options and great shipping rates there. I'm not telling you don't order from cookinpellets.com, but if you want great shipping rates on top of it, you go to those other retailers that I have mentioned. Longtime supporter of the show, CB and the gang over at cookinpellets.com. All right, joining me in the studio right now is the pitmaster of a competition team and business called Go Big or Go BBQ. Their website, gobigorgobarbecue.com. And during the day, you see him moonlighting as the owner and proprietor of Mr. Brisket. I'm just kidding.
Get that big stuff out of here.
As the barbecue expert over at the Mr. Brisket here in Cleveland, Ohio. It is Aaron Huntleman. Of course, we met him a few minutes ago. Aaron, welcome into the studio. And as I'm reading the instant chat, I believe somebody had it right. The last time someone was in studio, it wasn't in Willoughby, where we're at now for the last 3 years. It was when we were in Wycliffe, and it was show favorite neighbor Desmond, who was obviously my neighbor and the guy that stole my original pit barrel. So welcome in to the studio, and you've seen how the sausage is made now. So as somebody who has watched the show from time to time from the other side of the camera, what do you think it looks like behind the camera?
I'm wowed and amazed. This is beautiful.
Is it?
Yeah.
I think when I show people behind it, it's like there's a lot of moving blankets and there's a green screen behind you. By the way, this behind me, this is not a green screen. This is a real image. Like if this was a green screen, it would be distorting and all that. There is a green screen behind Aaron, but that's a real image banner behind me. I could show you to really prove it, but I don't care that much. Working on a new image, by the way, same image, but cropped a little bit differently from my guy Matt Sexton, photographer in Cleveland, so that might happen in the next couple weeks. Aaron, let's address the elephant in the room right off the rip. If a situation comes up where my time is limited, I can't get meat for my guy Kevin Green at the butcher shop, I will message you for assistant, and you are able to meet the call for help each and every time. And on every occasion but one, you will, quote, drop the meat and run. In other words, you don't ring the doorbell, no casual conversation, no nothing, just a text messages minutes after the fact that the meat is in the fridge.
Yeah.
Am I that horrible of a person to not want to spend 3 minutes with to conversate about life, about meat, about live fire? I'm kind of an internet celebrity. Maybe you want to take a selfie, put it on social media. Like, what gives?
I'm a man of mystery.
My family is like,
who's
everybody
that guy?
wants to talk to you. Not that guy. He can't wait to beat feet the hell out of it. We don't even ever see him. It's like all of a sudden you come in and you have 2 bags of meat, and where did that come from? Oh, Aaron dropped it. He didn't say hi. He never says hi.
Hank gives specific instructions. Put in fridge, leave.
Don't talk to Rempy ever. He pays, don't talk to him. That's all we want. All right. So how are things going to Mr. Brisket?
We are busy. We're, like I've said a couple times, we've had wind in our sails since
you came on
St. Patrick's Day. It's been, usually have your lulls in between holidays, but the competition meet has just continued on, especially since Memorial Day when someone decided to post about selling trimmed chicken thighs.
For the folks that don't know Mr. Brisket, a lot of competition folks have known about Mr. Brisket for years, especially the more nerdy competition folks. But explain a little bit about the business of Mr. Brisket on all aspects, not just the competition side.
So we're 50-year butcher shop next year, so we consider ourselves like a boutique butcher shop. Prime meats, Wagyu meats, custom cuts. You want it, we can get it. I can get you a pig, I can get you lamb. We'll get you whatever you want, and we'll ship it wherever we want. Hank and Sanford have been running it since 1974. Hank's now the full owner of it. Sanford comes in and says hi, and then sometimes I answer the phone as Hank and say I'm the owner and purveyor too. We do a deli. We're selling some of the best corned beef in Cleveland. We bake it. We don't boil it. So that's a big difference between other Cleveland people. Besides that, we're catering barbecue. We have our first barbecue pop-up next week. And we're just, we're running with whatever ideas we have.
2 years in a row. Also, you've put on an SCA steak contest down in Canton, Ohio.
Canton, Ohio, down at Oakwood Square. We've had the biggest Ohio steak competition the past 2 years.
Successful?
Yes. Profitable.
Really?
Yep. Both years.
You have masterminded the ultimate, quote-unquote, pitmaster's cheat code for the gamers out there with the creation of the competition box. But before we talk about that, let's talk about how this came to be, because I think most people think, as you had mentioned, about this internet storm that took hold a number of weeks ago when you posted chicken thighs. But it was even before that, right?
Yeah, I mean, about a year before that, we looked at the rules of the how the pork rule changed for KCBS to where you can just have the money muscle, and it was looking at a pork butt and the price of the pork butt. I'm like, we could price the money muscle side at this, and basically pay for the pork butt, and then the rest of the pork butt's your profit. And we've been selling money muscle sides. I think we sold like $5,000 or $6,000 worth of money muscles last year. You know, besides the Wagyu briskets that we were already selling to everybody.
When you're looking at the butt, the whole butt, before you take out the money muscle, do you have a way of gauging? So I would imagine, like anything in competition, consistency is key.
Yeah.
So you want to get as close to, I have no idea what they weigh, but I'm just throwing out round numbers, 3-pound money muscles, you know, on all pork butts, so you can send those to each person. So you're not getting one that's 5 pounds, one that's a half a pound, something like this. How do you gauge that just in the cryovac or by the case?
So when I'm looking at the case, I'm looking for anything over 80 pounds for an 8-butt case. It's going to give me 10-pound butts. So that kind of gives me the idea that everything in there is going to be big. You know, maybe 7 out of 8. Sometimes you have a little one. But when we're looking at that, so basically I'm just, you know, you can kind of eyeball the money muscle, and then you go back to the tubes a little bit, go down, and we're looking at, you know, 3.5, 4 pounds is what I'm shooting for. And
that pretty much covers the cost of the butt.
Yep.
What do you do with the now money muscleless butt?
Pulled pork. You know, we sell the cater the pulled pork, and then we have a lot of wholesale restaurants that are picking up the butts for their own use.
Could a backyard ham and egger get a money muscleless pork butt?
Yeah, $10 right now, I think, is what he's got them on sale.
Really?
Yeah.
Like that. I've been known to take some of those money muscleless pork, because when I'm cooking pork butt for the masses, I'm not going to tell anybody there's no money muscle in there, and there's going to be nobody that I know.
Nobody's getting mad.
None of my friends are going to be like, wait, there's no money muscle on that, because it's pulled pork. And I mean, up until like 4 or 5 years ago, I didn't realize I was ruining the best part of the pork butt either. I was just like, wow, this part feels really nice.
My first place call, I kind of just randomly sliced off the money muscle. I'm like, this looks good, and I put it in the box with some pulled meat, and we got a 176 in the first place in a backyard competition out in Cincinnati.
The chicken thighs, as we just talked about, the internet breaker, when it was initially posted, you had a vocal percentage of folks who thought it was the greatest thing ever. But positivity never rings as loud as negativity, and there were those who railed against it, basically calling it cheating, and that a pitmaster who used these already trimmed chicken thighs that you were offering for sale was indeed no pitmaster at all. Dare I say charlatan pitmaster. Was the chicken thigh thing your idea, or was it driven by a client, and then you promoted it as an available service?
One guy just he bought chicken thighs off the websites. We have an online store. He just bought just chicken thighs, and he put in the comments, can you trim for competition? And I was like, sure, I'll try. And we did like 16 of them, and I'm like, this shouldn't be that bad. And I never thought we would be 1,600 into them since Memorial Day since then.
Wow.
So, you know, I mean, it's definitely, there's been some growing pains. There's been some learning. There's, you know, doing that many chicken thighs, you learn a little bit of what to look for more instead of it's a chicken thigh. But, you know, I think overall it was kind of my idea just to run with it and promote it.
Out of the 4, that seems to be the one that could be the biggest variable. I mean, I open a pack of chicken and I'll get, 3 that are huge, 3 that are tiny. And, as a backyard guy, it's not like that big of a deal. I know I can either put the bigger ones on first or, just kind of work around the different sizes. But the competition guys, as we had said before, consistency is key. Consistency in size helps with the cook, their whole program. So are you opening tons of chickens just to get similarly shaped and sized chickens?
Yeah, I have a picture on my phone where I went through a bunch of chicken and got all 10-ounce, average 10-ounce chicken thighs. We trimmed them, and they ended up right at about 5-ounce trimmed. But if you open some of those packages, you'll get like a 4-ounce just raw thigh. And you'll also get, I had a 17-ounce thigh, which I'm pretty sure is off. Well, I don't want to see that chicken, but it was in the same package.
That's like a pound by itself.
Yeah. So, I mean, a good chicken thigh is going to start in that high 8, low 10 range is what I'm looking for.
And it just takes off? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, aside from the people shit talking it, for lack of a better term, do people just start calling and say, hey, I saw this on Facebook, looked you up on the internet, and...
No, I got shared on a really big competition Facebook page, and the crazy thing is it's not just like this Midwest area. I shipped some out to Kansas City, I've shipped some out to Texas, we've shipped some out all the way out West Coast. And I mean, it's new customers, it's a new customer base that we're building on, and yeah, it's just word of mouth. I mean, there's been, if you dig a little bit, there are people said, oh, they were tiny thighs, or this or that. And I do agree. The beginning, I kind of, I was shooting for look more than weight. And now that I've kind of learned the weight and the look, it's definitely become a more polished product. So, I apologize to the beta testers in the very beginning.
Is it still a product when they get it, they might have to do some work to it? Like,
Nope.
like you said, you don't want to take it too far, but...
The thighs are done.
Yeah.
So the thighs are done.
What's the process? Take us through a day in the life of a
chicken
skin.
thigh.
Yeah.
So you're pulling the chicken, you're checking your weight, pulling your skin off, and then...
All the way off.
All the way off. That goes to Tyler. Tyler has learned a new technique of filleting off the fat instead of scraping it. So he got a nice long fillet knife, and he just takes it right off.
In one swoop?
Like two, but
Wow.
he's doing pretty good. And then, me and one other guy, we'll take out the fat little pocket on the one side, square up the other side, flip out the oyster, pull the veins, trim both knuckles, and then roll the skin back on. We're averaging, I want to keep like a 40 thigh average a day is about where we're at.
How long does it take to trim out a chicken thigh?
I think we can get one, if you're to look at one, like 2 to 3 minutes.
And it's between the two of you doing it, or is it three of you guys? Or
last Wednesday,
both?
we had 4 of us, and we got 80 some done.
So you just wait until like a certain time of the day,
Yep.
and it's like, okay, now it's chicken thigh trimming
Yeah,
time?
no, we literally say it's thigh time, and
Yeah.
we jump in. It's usually after the lunch rush for sandwiches. Let's just go at it.
What does Hank think about that?
Hank's buying all the thighs. He's like, oh, woke up, had my coffee, and bought more thighs. But it's keeping us busy. Like our labor is a fixed cost. We're at work either way, so at least we're staying busy and doing something productive.
So you have the pork or the money muscle, you got the chicken thighs, but also so I guess what I'm leading to is here, this has now been culminated. We had talked off air a number of times leading into, was it a month ago or whatever when you released the competition box?
Yep. It was like July 4th-ish time.
So it's a one and done
Yep.
option. Tell us about the competition box.
So you got the 16 trim chicken thighs, and it was like, why 16? I'm like, well, that gives you options. Like we've had some guys who are like, they're great, but get extras just in case. I mean, I'm far from perfect, but I try to be as, what I put in the bag is what I would cook. But some guys, are not as, a little more picky than me or less picky than me. So you get 16 of those, 3 pork collars, 3 Wichita packing ribs, and then a 16 to 19 pound Wagyu brisket. And on the Wagyu brisket, we offered to ship them whole, split them, point and flat, or I'm also trimming them down to a full like 7.5 inch, ready to go brisket.
Like the box sized?
Yep. Yeah. So we just take one of the, brisket caddy jigs and go off that, and it's, ready to go.
What's the turn-in these days for brisket? Are a lot of the teams
It's all flat.
splitting it? Like splitting it up, they're using point for burn ends if they're going to make them, and then it's just turning into flat.
I think everybody's eating their burn ends and turning it in flat.
Oh, because it was, I don't know, a handful of years ago you had to turn in burn ends in order to
Be good.
win, but
Yeah.
now they've gotten away from that.
Yeah. I mean, you watched the Barbecue USA last night. I know you're keeping up with it. The one guy, he's like, these burn ends are too fatty and too tough. We're not using them. And it's like, those looked amazing, but that's just I think your flat's more of a consistent product, to kind of test your skills on.
What's the cost of the box?
$3.99 shipped ground. And if we have to go second day air, so you're further Texas, you're out west, you're $4.99 in the air.
Is that good? Is that a good price?
I
Like if you cost it out
I think
otherwise, I mean, and plus you have labor and trimming all that shit out, so you don't have to do it when it gets there, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think cost-wise, if you're to buy everything a la carte before shipping's like $360. But also we just this is a breaking news announcement.
Yeah.
A Barbecue Central Show exclusive news update.
Greg Rempe reporting from the breaking news desk here in Cleveland, Ohio, the city that breaks the most live fire breaking news across the country, nay, the globe. And we remain here in my basement in Willoughby, Ohio, as we kick it over to Aaron Huntleman for an exclusive announcement.
Breaking news: if you're going to the Wadsworth competition here in October in Ohio, we're doing it for $359 delivered at the competition.
Wow. Deal of the century.
It really, I mean, it is.
Yep.
You know, you got to think an 18-pound brisket at $9.99 a pound's $180 of that box.
Well, I think the other thing that's easily to discount or look over is however many hours you're putting in on the brisket trimming. I don't know what you're doing with the ribs, but obviously you're doing something with the chicken thighs, and then you're also doing the stuff with the pork that you're not going to have to do at home when you get the box. You just got to store it so it doesn't spoil and then take it to your competition.
Yeah, I mean, my biggest goal was to almost get to the point where we're shipping them to the competition. You just show up and start cooking. I think that'd be really cool.
Dangerous.
That'd be dangerous, but I think, like we have guys calling for the Royal. I said, wouldn't it be cool just to have a booth of the Royal? We roll up with a refrigerated truck full of orders, and everybody just picks them up there.
Who's the biggest name you're shipping competition box to?
I mean, Luke of Tire Smoke has used my chicken thighs, and he got second place call with them. I would say he's my biggest name of friends.
Are there some people that are rule number one of the show? No names, please.
Yeah, there's some no names out
Oh, yeah?
there.
Big names?
I think big for our region, yes.
Not like, I'm just throwing names out there, but like a Brad Leiniger or a Tim Shear, like, team of the year type folks?
Not yet.
No?
No, I mean, I had a big name reach out to me for a friend that we shipped one out to out west for a gentleman. He's blind, seeing impaired, and we shipped him a box, and he competed with it out west last week or 2 weeks ago. He did at the Invitational. That's where he was.
You're going to be able to answer this question. Hank weighing in, $3.99 is a bargain. I'm losing money. Yes or no?
I mean, he's smiling every day, so I don't think he is.
Yeah. Come on, Hank. You're not kidding anybody. You're making some money, or you wouldn't be doing it at all.
Hank's 10 years younger since I announced all these things.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet. 10 years younger. All right, so we have the competition box. Seems to be going strong. Would you say that the interest or the orders are continuing to tick up, or have you hit at least a steady streak of those, or is it still a little bit shoddy?
No, we're a good week at Mr. Brisket, I would say, is like a dozen shipments. We're in the 30 shipment range for
the competition box.
At least I did 15 briskets on Friday for competition boxes, so
Wow.
I think we shipped at least 15 this week.
Wow. And then what about chicken thighs?
Chicken thighs were consistently 100, 160 a week. Peak was like 220. I think we did 1 week.
How much am I paying for chicken thighs only? Do I have to buy them by the dozen?
$5 a thigh, 16 thighs minimum.
All right. Is that good?
I mean, I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, shipping you got to weigh the shipping there. I mean, shipping's not a lot for that size box and that weight.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's more about your time. Like, that's where I'm at. Like, I got kids. I don't have time to do that. So.
Derek can wait a second.
Yeah.
I had one more follow-up question. So with all of this box stuff, what about adding another value add to it? Maybe you haven't even thought about it yet. I'm going to give you a great idea. You can tell me to go piss up a rope if you don't like it. What about adding greens for the box as well? You're one and done. The only thing, somehow like attaching it to the turn. Well, they give you turning boxes there, but I mean, what about greens? Why not?
No, you've seen guys where they build the box at home. They do the double flip of the box, and somebody brought that up the other day. No, I'd like to do sauce and rub ads. And injections somehow. I don't know how we could get it in the box there, but even like a separate box with a nice shipping rate for everything, I think is the next step in the evolution.
How's the Go Big or Go Barbecue business?
We're beating last year's sales, so
Yep. Right.
We're rocking and rolling there.
All right, we'll pick it up in a few moments, or as we have some open spots here, maybe top of the second hour. Hank wants to know if he can make money on greens.
Probably.
I mean, Hank, a businessman can make money on anything, right?
Some kind of green.
Right. You can make some green on greens. All right, Aaron Huntleman is joining us from Go Big or Go BBQ for the rest of the show here. And by the way, if you're interested in that competition box, you know where to find them over at Mr. Brisket. You can find them on Facebook as well. Before we get to Derrick, let me talk to you about my new favorite cooker that's sitting in the backyard, the Primo Grill. Yes. So for all the talk of dealing with charcoal, and it's messy, and I got to mess with the bottom damper, and I got to mess with the top damper, I don't know. Maybe it's because this is the way I came up 100 years ago into the game, but I have fallen in love with the whole romance of building a fire, keeping temperature, and getting a different flavor profile than I was getting off of the pellet cookers, without question. And everybody in the family likes it. And if I might say, not everybody in the house is a fan of charcoal flavor. So luckily, I have the accessories of the deflector plates. So I wrap those up in foil, and then I put those over the flame or over the fuel source, and then meat above that. Now, the foil makes easy cleanup, so as the fat renders down, it just sticks right on the foil, so no worrying about that. And then it's not all cascading over into the flames and giving you that charcoal flavor that maybe some of you enjoy. I enjoy it. Like when I cook on the pit barrel or badger barrel, I like that. Girls in the house, gals in the house, not big fans of that. So you're able to marginalize that to a large degree with the deflector plates of the Primo. Plus, they got tons of other accessories. They got rotisseries. They got pizza inserts. They have all sorts of great stuff. You know what I just found out? If you take the cooking grate, the way it would normally sit, you can invert it and then flip it down, and it actually gets much closer to the coals. So I was searing some steaks off Saturday for dinner. Man, that thing gets hugely hot, hugely quickly. Poor English. Sorry about that. Only sold through dealers, so find one near you, primogrill.com. That's primogrill.com. Look at all the ovals that your dealer has, and then buy the oval that is best for you. That's primogrill.com. Follow them on Facebook, follow them on Instagram, and join the oval revolution. That's actually not a saying, but I'm just making it up here this evening. Hashtag oval revolution. How about that? We are back with Derrick Riches right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the BBQ Central Show. Howard Stern, Jim Rome, Dan Patrick, and Greg Rempe. The Mountain Rushmore of talk show entertainment. Now, let's get back to the BBQ Central Show.
And this portion being brought to you by Fireboard. You can monitor up to 6 different shows simultaneously. Connect to Wi-Fi for cloud-based monitoring, or connect via Bluetooth. If you have Alexa or the Google Assistant in your home, you're in luck because Fireboard is fully integrated with both. You can find out more by visiting fireboard.com or call 816-945-2232. The fourth Tuesday of the month means it's time to go to the hotline and welcome in the most respected barbecue journalist in this business. He is a BBQ Central Show's guest Hall of Famer. He is Derrick Riches from DerrickRiches.com. Derrick, happy to have you aboard here this evening. We do have an in-studio guest who is Aaron Huntleman from Go Big or Go BBQ, so he may or may not be jumping in with some of his own questions here this evening. Help us out, because we were trying to remember. Were we off last month, Derrick, or were we on last month?
Yeah, we were off because you bumped me for someone else.
Who was it?
I don't remember. That was a month ago.
It had to have been a big name. I mean, usually I wouldn't just go bumping you willy-nilly.
Was it Noah? Gainville? Maybe. I don't know.
Badger? Maybe it was Badger Barrel.
Might have been.
Yeah, now that you mention it, I think it might have been Badger Barrel, now that you're talking out loud here. What do you think about Badger Barrel?
I mean, it looks good. I mean, it's interesting. It's a departure for them.
Do you think it's some kind of a rail against what the pit barrel clientele is? Can you do both of those?
Well, if you notice, there seems to be a clear separation between the two of them.
Yeah, obviously.
You go to pitbarrel.com, there's not much, there's not mention of Badger there. You go to Badger, it's like, yeah, there's some, hey, we're Pit Barrel people, but this is a very clear separation, and that makes perfect sense because the whole point of the Pit Barrel was it doesn't need vents, it doesn't need adjustment. You build a fire, you put the food in there, you let it go, you don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Now he's got a much more classic smoker. I mean, you put a water pan in the bottom of this, and you got a Weber Smoky Mountain.
Right.
You know, I mean, that's really what it is. It's a old style vertical, you know, trash can smoker.
Are you a meat hanger?
Sometimes I don't, you know, there are times it's like I'll do it and I'll just, you know, like check on it a lot because I worry
It's going to let go, right?
Yeah, it freaks me out a little bit. But
Aaron, are you a meat hanger?
No.
No?
I get afraid too if it's going to fall in the fire, and it's like.
Well, so the thing that I've always struggled with not hanging is that you can't get nearly the volume of food in the pit barrel on the grate that you can on the hang. I can get, even in the pit barrel junior, I think you can get 8 racks of ribs or at least 6 racks of ribs on the hang, but you're going to get like 1 cut in half on the grate.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, it gives you the full use of all that space. So, you know, and there's a lot of smokers out there that have kind of had that design to it. It's an old classic idea. I you know, I mean, I've had several pit barrels and I've used them several times, and you know, there's literally been the time it's like, oh, I'm hanging a rack of ribs in here because I'm not going to eat more than a rack of ribs. And there's not, you know, at the time, maybe there's just nobody around to eat it, but you know, you have that volume capacity, then that's great.
You like the price point?
Yeah. It's a good price point, I think.
Yeah, it's great.
I'm interested to see if it stays there.
I mean, I can't imagine it's going to go up in price.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean,
I've put them. I mean, I have both. I've had a flagship pit barrel forever until neighbor Desmond stole it from me before he moved, and then I have a pit barrel junior, and now I have the Badger barrel, and I put the Badger barrel together with my own 2 hands, and it only took me 10 hours. And I mean, there's a noticeable. I'm going to use the word quality, but I only mean it in a thickness way. When you touch and hold the pit barrel, and then you touch and hold the Badger, I mean, instantly you can tell that the pit barrel seems to be a more premium product, and price tag to reflect that. So,
I was looking at the weight between the two of them. In
this environment of potential financial stress, which I'm still not sure if I believe or not, it's a great positioned product, if nothing else, from a price point perspective.
Yeah, no, it is that. And the simple truth of the matter is that, you know, for, you know, a lot of the average backyard cooks and stuff, you don't need, you know, that much. I mean, you know, I had a pit barrel for a decade.
Yeah.
And I actually had before like the new paint went on it, like the very first version of it.
Yeah.
And I had some rusting here and there.
Yes.
But it wasn't going anywhere, and I wasn't aggressive about getting after it. But, you know, I mean, it's, you know, there's a market for everything, you know, and there's got to be a wide price range for things, so it makes sense.
You up to speed on what's happening with Memphis in May, or do you not really care?
I'm up to speed. I don't know that I care.
You've been to a number of Memphis in Mays, right?
I have.
You ever been to Memphis in May, Aaron?
No,
never.
I'm your video guy next year when we go.
I don't even know if there's going to be one next year, Aaron. So hold your horses. So what do you think about this whole deal?
I love Memphis in May. It's a lot of fun. It's a great party, and that's what it is to me. It's you know, they say that the Memphis in May and the Royal, they're kind of like big parties that happen to have a barbecue competition sometimes. It's not that it's necessary, but
Is the majesty of Memphis in May the location off of Beale Street, and then also being able to go out of Tom Lee Park into Beale Street and having it be in that just grassy field, and now the reconstruction of it has made it an untenable situation going forward?
Yeah, I mean, from the price point, I mean, they put a lot of money into the park, and they're not going to want to let it get trashed, and so they're clearly sending a message. They're coming back and saying, "Hey, you might want to think differently about this." I don't know that I would be interested in a Memphis in May if it was out in a big parking lot. It is. It's great that it's there, and then you can walk off of Beale Street into the competition. A lot of people come in at night. A lot of people who don't know or care anything about barbecue come into Memphis in May at night to party and to have a good time. And you take it out of that space, you lose all of that.
So where should it go? Or should it die?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think it will die. I think it could get changed a lot. I mean, I don't like the fact that they moved the Royal. I like that it was kind of in this weird, trashy under the freeway next to an abandoned arena that was populated entirely by rats, and that it was.
There was charm to that, are you saying?
It was charm to it, and it was it was a lot of fun. And then you put it out in a giant parking lot, and there's no,
Rats.
I mean, the Royal had division, it had space, and Memphis in May had that, because it's just this big, long, mile-long competition that you can wander back and forth through, and it's kind of a maze-like thing. And
so they've moved the American Royal like 3 different times. It was at the cattle yard, whatever the hell it was, Kemper or whatever. Like you're talking about, have the dark side and the main side, whatever. Then they moved it to the football stadium. Then they moved it to the Speedway. Then it moved maybe back to the football stadium. Then it finally landed back on the Speedway, where I think it will now remain. Through all of that moving, plus they had transferred dates a number of different times, so it wasn't always that whatever date in September. So they ran through some of that logistic nightmare as well. But still there, still holding its cachet. People still want to win it. I don't know if they want to win the Open more than the Invitational, depending on who you talk to. But Darren Worth from Iowa Smoky D said a couple weeks ago, he's won it 3 times. He wants to win it 4th time. I said, aren't you getting greedy? He's like, you can never win it enough times. And what do I mean by that? It means that with all this moving and all this nonsense, there's still value in it. So it's a long way to go to say, could you move Memphis in May and still have it feel like Memphis in May?
They're 2 different beasts in my mind. The KCBS can say that they have a KCBS World Championship that happens, but the Royal is still it. The Royal is still the thing to win. It's just it's your KCBS title, and nothing is going to change that because you're winning the Royal. The other stuff, you win the Royal, you win the Jack, you win Memphis in May. Those are the 3 that people consider having a value to it. But Memphis in May is a very different thing. It's a pork competition. It's got a completely different set of rules. It's considered more subjective in who wins. It's more about the ambiance. It's about the place. It's more connected that way. I mean, they could hold the Royal wherever they wanted. I think you'd still get people going, I'm going to win the Royal. If it's in Anchorage, Alaska, it doesn't, whatever. It's still the Royal. But Memphis in May is to me, and maybe I'm just romantic about it. It's Memphis in May is the thing that happens in Memphis. It's on the river. You're right there. You're watching the barges go up and down while people are cooking barbecue. You can wander off to Beale Street. You can get food there if you want. You can get food at the event. You can do what you want. It's part of the city. So it's just kind of, I think, the logistics of Memphis Park sitting there going, hey, we've got this big empty space that kind of gets used occasionally. Why don't we make it into a space where everyone can go all the time, where it's got stuff, it's got amenities that can be used but that means a big investment. They put a lot of money into it, and now they're going to come back and say, hey, it's going to cost us a lot to relawn everything and fix it up after an event like that.
Carol Coletta, maybe that's her name, the CEO of Memphis River Parks Partnership, said, and I quote, kind of quote, this was a joint effort. They consulted Memphis in May. They built this park at the behest, they configured it at the behest of what Memphis in May wanted. Do you believe that? The answer is no.
In the sense that there was compromises going on and that those compromises didn't necessarily listen to everybody involved. But the thing of it is you also got to understand Memphis in May isn't a barbecue group. Memphis in May is a city group designed to kind of promote that. If they could double Beale Street, music festival and cut the barbecue competition out and get all their money that way, I don't think that would bother them. I've talked with people.
No, of course it would bother them. That's the big. I think the barbecue competition is bigger than the blues part.
Well, yeah, that's just in my opinion because the blues part hasn't been terribly well managed. I mean, it's like I've looked at the lineup. I'm like, I like blues. I listen to blues.
You're the only one that listens to blues, Derek. Aaron, you listen to blues?
No,
of course you don't. Come on. It's rock and roll only, and then barbecue. Yeah. Let's go.
Well,
you live the rock and roll lifestyle, Derek.
Then,
are you kidding?
Greg, what you need to be doing? Hall of Fame.
Yes, I love going to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame too.
You need to get the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame barbecue competition.
Yes,
going
in Cleveland.
That's
Cleveland.
All right, and Aaron will supply all the meat for free to all teams that show up. You've heard it here first.
Hank hopefully signed out for that one.
I
didn't know that's a goal of ours. Is we have some Rock and Roll Hall of Fame people like higher up in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame that are customers of Mr. Brisket, and that's the goal is to sit down and say, hey, how can we put on a steak competition or something over there? It's really, but it also comes down to the exact same thing of, can we tear up your grass for a weekend and you're okay with it? Because I don't think there's a lot of room there to park trailers.
No,
maybe the Muni lot.
I said you could do Muni lot or you could do Burke Lakefront Airport.
Yeah,
that would give you all the space you want. You got a whole airport out there. But,
shut down all the streets for a week and just call it good.
Yeah. It's Cleveland. It's not like it's Chicago.
Anyway.
Nobody cares about that. I mean, you'd shut down Chicago. They shut down Chicago for a friggin' NASCAR race. You can shut down the streets of Cleveland for a month and nobody wouldn't even notice.
If you got enough big names behind it, I think that you could sell it.
Yes. Well, Mr. Brisket's the first big name. Barbecue Central show, second big name. I mean, everybody else is small peanuts after that.
Yeah.
Derek, is Guga doing more harm than good with his crazy videos?
I don't think he's doing any harm because I don't think people who cook watch any of it.
No, you're kidding. Everybody watches it, obviously. Look at the views. Aaron, you watch Guga?
When I see it pop up and he goes, I'm eating a 4-year-old steak and see what happens. And it's like,
I think I have Guga in studio with me. Did you hear that? I hear a voice twin. Very good. All right.
It's just, I don't, it's
four views.
It's a 14-year-old kid in junior high messing with his school lunch to gross people out. I mean, people watch it. Look, people don't watch Food Network because they want to learn to cook. They watch Food Network because they're fascinated by food. Nobody who likes Gordon Ramsay cooks.
I do.
You like Gordon Ramsay?
Yeah, I like him.
Yeah, he's a nice guy, but he's nothing like what he's on TV.
Of course.
But
who is?
The thing of it's food entertainment, and people will jump for food entertainment. You know.
So then why isn't barbecue television rocking and rolling? Is it just boring? Heaven forbid! Don't tell me the truth.
Okay, I won't.
Good. Save me the pain. Are you watching Barbecue USA or Barbecue Brawl?
No.
Did
they do that again?
On. Yes, again. I had Michael Simon on the show a couple weeks ago.
I hate food competition shows.
Barbecue USA isn't a food competition show. It's it's a journey along the competition trail to peek in and see what teams are doing and so forth.
And I think this season's this season's better because he hit up like the Pig Beach thing last weekend, which wasn't like a sanctioned event. It was just,
some out of the way
stuff,
not just the normal KCBS trail stuff.
And that's, that's good that, non-mainstream stuff can kind of get some attention.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to see that, but the market is pretty limited for that. And the problem with barbecue TV is you kind of cook a lot of the same stuff over and over again.
Yeah.
And that becomes a hard sell to a broad audience. And, nobody who's listening to that is like, oh, but I don't want it. I've seen someone cook a brisket once. I'm good. No, they're like, I want to know more. There's more to know. And you can dig as deep as you want into a subject. Most people don't care.
That's why Malcolm Reed is popular and the TV shows aren't as popular, probably. Because you can get all the information that you're probably craving from a Malcolm.
Yeah, no, Malcolm does a great job of explaining what to do and what's going on. And as far as the Guga guy goes, it's like you brought that up and it's like I hadn't seen one in a while. I hadn't.
Did you watch the one where he calls out the steakhouses for passing off fake dry aged steak?
Yeah, but who didn't know that?
I didn't know that.
Oh God, yeah.
It's just like when they say
chemically
this is
modified.
A really nice steak. Is it choice? Is it prime? I don't know.
I have a thing, and my tongue will swell up if I eat flavor enhancers,
like MSG,
like the MSG or any of the flavor enhancers or the tenderizers.
Yeah.
So if I go to steakhouse and they're using a lot of chemicals to enhance a bad steak to make it,
have you ever heard
better?
of cocoa aminos?
Yeah.
We had a customer asking about that the other day.
You put them in your steak?
I've heard of it, but that's why I don't go to Ruth's Chris.
Because they put cocoa camino.
I don't know if they
on their steak.
I don't know that they put that in it. They use meat tenderizers and flavor enhancers to make their steak seem better than it is. But the thing of it is, I was watching that guy, and the commercial in his video was for scent flavored water. It was for a water thing.
It's like you put it on the straw or whatever, right?
Right, and it makes you smell something and think that the water has that flavor. And
I'm like, regular water?
It's just regular water.
Wow.
This is the perfect product for people who don't cook, who know nothing about food, but think that water must have a flavor in order for them to drink it. So that's the market. That's who they're going for.
All right, last question. I should have led with this, but I didn't. I apologize. YouTube poll question of the week: offset pits produce the best tasting barbecue you can eat. Yes or no?
Yes.
Of course. Aaron?
Yes.
All right. I also
Greg.
agree. What?
Okay.
Yes, 100%. Yes. However, 50-50 split still in the YouTube chat, 50% yes and 50% no, which is surprising to me, which can only lead me to surmise that 50% of the audience have never had a really good offset pit barbecue when compared to everything else, because to me, there's just no better flavor than when a properly run offset pit is producing barbecue. But don't take it from us three experts for crying out loud.
I think that's a region. Who's using an offset up here?
Me.
Well, like commercially.
The closest one would be Mabel's, but he's running a JR Oiler, so it's technically not an offset. But it's like close enough, right? It's real fire and it's a rotisserie.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah.
But other than
I
that,
live in Austin. Everything's offset.
Yeah, of course. That's why you have the best tasting barbecue, right?
Old hickories, things like that.
Absolutely.
What are you writing about that's going to shatter the live fire foundations here coming up?
Well, we promised to talk about my article on food safety temperatures next time. So
we'll do that in September.
We're still going to plug for that.
All right. Then we'll look forward to that in September. Otherwise, go to DerrickRiches.com. Derrick, always appreciate the time, and we'll see you in said September.
It's good to talk to both of you.
All right. Take care.
Derrick.
Derrick Riches right there. DerrickRiches.com, the website, and check him out. He's got product reviews and recipes. You can buy books that he has written there, and tune in next month as we talk about temperatures, stuff you didn't know, stuff nobody's telling you about. Have I teased you enough to tune in next month? I hope so. All right, we're going to wrap up the first hour. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Continuing to produce incredibly mediocre content in an exceptionally professional way. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
We thank Derrick Riches for joining us last segment. Again, DerrickRiches.com, his website. Hank in the chat said he's very excited about putting together an SCA event at the Rock Hall. So I still think that there's just a lack of overall space. Although they could cordon off that mall area in the front.
Yep. Thinking tents only.
Yeah.
You know, no trailers, tents only.
Pop-ups, right?
Yeah.
Bring it back old school, as we say.
Yeah.
And have the first SCA we could call it like Steak and Roll.
Yeah, Rock and Steak.
Rock and Steak. Or some other stupid pun like that.
Throw Cleveland and everything's named Cleveland.
That's right. All right, that's the first hour. We're going to step away and reload. We'll be back in the second hour. Once again, Aaron Huntleman from Go Big or Go BBQ is here, and we will see you here in just a few minutes. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Happy to have you aboard here for the really big barbecue show.
Boing.
We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to.
Hit me.
Fine, how's it going?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan.
Boing.
So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead, and he's in the crackle. Charbono! It's all about the charbono, dude.
Succulent fish. What?
He ate 2 feet or wiener. Oh, listen, Libertius, shut your face.
I'm shaking like a dog shit peach seeds.
We have top men working on it right now. Top men.
And just like that, we are into the second hour. Welcome aboard. It's the Barbecue Central Show, where we talk about only the most high-level barbecue and grilling items that are affecting the live fire community at this very moment, or perhaps even over the last weeks or months. The show originating from
Palm City, USA, Cleveland.
And sitting in for this whole show is the pitmaster of Go Big or Go BBQ, or your best pally at Mr. Brisket, Aaron Huntleman. Go Big or Go BBQ.com. We say good evening to those of you watching tonight through our video streaming platforms, Facebook and Twitch /BBQ Central Show. Also over on YouTube, youtube.com/@BBQ Central Show, as we update the YouTube poll question of the week. Offset pits produce the best tasting barbecue you can eat, and 52% of you are now saying yes. So luckily the tie has been broke in the correct direction, but still a lot of time to go. We'll ask the embedded correspondents coming up here shortly, and obviously Aaron Huntleman has weighed in with a yes as well. So we'll keep you updated as the show progresses. Coming up this Friday on the Best Moments of the Barbecue Central Show in 10 minutes or less, episode 296, taking you back to August 20th, 2017. And this week we feature Barbecue Central Show's guest Hall of Famer and a longtime sponsor of the show before they weren't a sponsor, but it wasn't up to him, Bob Trudnak from Bob Trudnak's BBQ. And in this spot, we end up talking quite a bit about a perfect chicken score that he garnered all the way back at the regional finals of the National Pro Barbecue Tour by Sam's Club. So, that was a while ago. And he didn't even turn in chicken thighs to get that score. So be sure to tune in this coming Friday to see what he turned in, and if it ever became a trend moving forward at that point. Would you ever consider turning in not chicken thighs at a KCBS event?
I did legs for a couple when it They didn't score as well.
What about wings?
I know teams who have scored really well with wings.
Everybody loves chicken wings.
If you can cook them right and make sure the skin's not leather, run with it.
What if you set up a kettle? Maybe this is totally illegal.
I've thought about this. I know what you're going to say.
Set up a kettle. Cast iron pan. Crisco in the cast iron pan. Fry the wings. Toss them in sauce. Boom. I mean, can you do that? There's no... the fire is the fire. That's like the biggest sticking point, right?
I mean, you're basically, when you're doing thighs, you're putting them in a pan of butter, which is just a hard oil instead of, frying oil. What's the difference?
Anybody, I tell you what, when's your next KCBS competition?
Wadsworth, October.
I'll pay a quarter of your entry fee if you fry wings and turn them in.
I don't know if I could do that because I'm the chicken thigh guy right now.
Yeah, but you're the captain of your team, right?
Yeah.
So you can do it.
One, yeah.
I'm sponsoring the chicken portion of it.
Yeah.
So when you get in and you do it, they call you as first place chicken. You grab the microphone from some schmuck calling your name, say, "Hey,
they were deep fried.
Barbecue Central shows chicken recipe, blah blah blah, deep fried wings. F yourself." And then you can say, "By the way, I'm giving a class starting Monday on chicken.
Come see how we deep fry."
Yeah, there's no way that could be a thing, right?
No, I don't think so.
All right. But you're going to try because I'm going to pay you, and then we're going to see if we're going to set a trend.
We'll see if we can get the Traeger hot enough to get the fryer hot enough.
No, you're going to need to bring a kettle. I'll lend you my slow and sear. You can bring it if you don't have a kettle cooker.
We'll do that.
Yeah, you're going to need that. I guarantee the Traeger's not going to get hot enough. Still to come on the show this evening in about 10 minutes from now, the embedded correspondence for 14 and 35 past the hour. You can subscribe to the best moments of the Barbecue Central Show in 10 minutes or less by visiting the bbqcentralshow.com/subscribe portion of the new website. And don't forget, if you want to hear a guest or segment again that has been lost in the archives, email John and let him know what you would like to hear, JON@thebbqcentralshow.com, and he will do his best to meet your expectation as you tell him what you would like to hear. Did you know, Aaron, that last week there was a Famous Dave's All-Star Barbecue Series contest?
Mm-hmm.
Winning it, of course, was Nick Hetwer from Great Pig in the Sky Barbecue, and reserving was Damon Holter from Croy Valley, so we congratulate them. There was a total of 6 teams there, which, again, 6 teams, not 16 or 60, but 6. And I thought that was the cap when we were putting this promo together with the folks over at Sam's and World Food Championship. But, fun little thing there. It looks like they did chicken and ribs, and then they had a wild card, which, is there any way for me to see what that might have been? No, but that's a fun event that's going on all through the rest of this month. In fact, the next Famous Dave's All-Star Barbecue Series event is happening this coming Saturday in August 26th in Minnetonka, Minnesota. You ever been to Minnetonka, Minnesota?
Nope.
Never? You're missing out. Land of 1,000 lakes, I think. For more information or to see the results of past events, go to famousdaves.com/All-Star Barbecue Series. All right, folks. We are about a month away. You know where I'm going with this here. From the 2023 Hartville Hardware Grillfest. Hey-o! Saturday, September 23rd in the booming, dare I say, hearty metropolis of Hartville, Ohio, slated to appear as in-person demo talent on the Big Green Egg side. Somebody named Captain Ron. You know Captain Ron?
No.
I do not know Captain Ron. But we will get to know Captain Ron on Saturday, September 23rd. I thought it was actually going to be grilling with Dad, but then after corresponding with him, I guess there were some scheduling issues. So Captain Ron will be filling in for Machek. On the Weber side of things, our pal and quarterly guest right here in the Buckeye State of Ohio, Mike Lang from Another Pint, Please.
Hey, Mike.
And on the Traeger side of things, Lady who needs no introduction, a crowd favorite for years and years and years, the inimitable BBQ, Danielle Bennett. Of course, the real draw is the MC of events, me. Come see me, then you can see everybody else, but come for me. There's going to be a pork ribs and pork belly contest. There is a new mystery box section that the competitors will also have to be taking part in. And the best part is if you are a consumer looking for a big green egg or a Weber gas grill or a Traeger wood-fired pellet cooker, the units that are used in the contest, and I don't know how many contestants are going to be this year. Do you have a
21?
Right. So was that seven
of each?
Seven of each. If you're looking to get a deal on one of these, you can bring home at a discount a used Big Green Egg, Weber gas grill, or Traeger used once right in the competition that year. So if you're in that mode, make sure you bring something home that will be able to or make sure you bring something down that can transport those cookers back home, but only burned in. And look, you don't have to season it. The whole thing will have been taken care of. All you got to do is pay the reduced retail amount and then take it home. And maybe you're bringing home the one that ends up winning the whole thing there at Hartville Hardware Grillfest 2023. So a fun day of competition, learning, but most of all, huge deals on everything that is in the barbecue and grilling section, along with representatives from many of the brands that they carry to answer all your questions and make sure you're buying what's best for you. By the way, if you didn't know, last October, he was on talking about his victory. He's back to defend this year. Aaron Huntleman right there.
This guy. And my sauce and rubs in the store.
Are we excited about
I love Hartville.
Defending?
Yeah. I want to be the first back-to-back.
Are you nervous about this whole black box or mystery box thing?
Yes and no.
I wanted to talk Steve out of it. I thought it was a little gimmicky.
It's a gimmick, but Steve, the pork, he's last year the rumor was we were going to have skin on pork belly to really throw us off, and then he gave us just regular pork belly. So I don't know what you can throw. Not everybody's a culinarian person to just dive into
it there.
Yeah, to do 4 different ingredients, there has to be a protein, there has to be a starch, or I'm hoping there are, but 30 minutes is not a lot of time if you're not used to that pressure of cooking, but they're also adding 11 griddles in the middle to use for that. So,
really?
Yeah, I don't know if they're selling the griddles too as part of that deal, but that tent's going to be so hot if there's 11 griddles and 21 grills going. But, that's just part of the game, and we're back on the Traeger grill and, see how we can do this year.
If you don't turn in the mystery box,
it's are
you screwed?
It's 25% of the score.
So you got to do it.
Yeah, you got to do it.
Wow. That would have probably put me out of thinking about doing it if I wasn't emceeing that event.
Yeah, there's a lot of good talent coming this year.
What's up? You win a pretty decent prize. You get some good gift cards and that you can spend in the store, and you get those really cool wood trophies.
There's a really cool one this year. The Red Barn Home, I think, is the guy making it. It's like a flame this year. It's like a resin inlaid flame trophy.
Nice.
It's like $500 if you win everything, $250 for the category. I spent it on.
Give me a percentage of you repeating between no percent and 100%.
I'm like 85%.
You said 100%? Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all or nothing here on the show.
I need a second Yeti.
So anybody else looking to compete at the Grillfest 2023, you're competing for second place at this point because Aaron from Go Big or Go BBQ will be under the tent on the Traeger and ready to go back to back, belly to belly, and bumper to bumper. September 23rd, we'll see you there. I'll be emceeing. BBQ will be there. Mike Lang will be there, and Captain Ron will be there, and celebrity grill master Aaron Huntleman will be under the tent looking to go back to back on the competition side of things. So hope to see you out there. Again, that's September 23rd. All right, let's go ahead and get out of here. Oh, wait. What did I do?
Well,
let me review this for a second. Make sure that I don't do this wrong. Let me stop that. Well, hopefully this works. Yeah, see, I had a feeling that was going to do that. Let me reload that. Now we can do it. Some of the embedded correspondents are in. I see Doug. I saw John a second ago. I see no Rusty. I fear Rusty might have forgotten this whole thing. We'll see. Before we get to Rusty and John and Doug and Aaron, we'll talk to you about Big Papa Smokers. Listen up, gang. Our friends at Big Papa Smokers have something especially for you, the listeners of this show. Whether you're a seasoned pitmaster or a grilling newbie, Big Papa Smokers is your one-stop shop for all things barbecue, from their championship rubs, mouth-watering sauces, essential accessories. They've got what you need to take your food to the next level, both on the competition circuit and in your backyard. Here's the cherry on top. Big Papa Smokers is offering the listener of Barbecue Central Show an exclusive deal. Use the promo code REMPE at checkout. That's REMPE. As we used to say on the phone, M as in Michael, P as in Peter, E. REMPE. You get $10 off your next purchase of $50 on rubs, sauces, and accessories. Great. Imagine the possibilities. Elevating your ribs with Big Papa's Sweet Money Rub, or adding Big Papa's Desert Gold to your chicken or vegetables, or better yet, pick up a bottle of Double Secret and add it to your steak. Head over to BigPapaSmokers.com, start shopping today, and don't forget to use promo code REMPE at checkout to claim your $10 off your next order of $50 or more. Once again, that's REMPE. Also, don't forget to check out Big Papa's full line of recipes at cookingwithbigpapa.com. And of course, follow them on all the social media platforms at Big Papa Smokers. That's BigPapaSmokers.com. Sterling Ball and the gang out there, certainly appreciate the support over the last many, many years. We're back with the embedded correspondents, at least 2/3 of them, and then Aaron is also sitting in here for the last part of the show. So stick around. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Howard Stern, Jim Rome, Dan Patrick, and Greg Rempe. The Mountain Rushmore of talk show entertainment. Now, let's get back to the Barbecue Central Show.
Welcome back. This portion of the show being brought to you by Pit Barrel Cooker. And while I would normally tell you about how unbelievable it is, and it doesn't matter if you're beginner, professional, whatever, forget about it. There's a huge deal going on right this very moment over at Pit Barrel, where you can get a PBX, or a Pit Barrel Extreme, or whatever the X stands for, extra large. You can get it for half off. What's the code, Aaron?
I don't know.
I believe it's PBX USA.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
So if you go to the pitbarrel.com website, you go order the PBX at checkout, or if you want to call in, or if you want to email, make sure it's PBX, what did I say?
USA.
PBX USA, you get half off. So imagine the biggest cooker that they make getting shipped to you at $2.99. It's an unbelievable deal. It's cheaper than their flagship size. It's unbelievable. You're interested. I know it.
I am.
Yes, of course. Who wouldn't be at that price? And again, it's $2.99, shipped to your door, PBX USA. At checkout, go to pitbarrelcooker.com. And again, if you want to fact check me, hit them up on email or social media. Typically, it's Noah or Amber running those handles anyway, so they would be the right people to talk to and confirm. So, without any further ado, we race to the hotline and welcome in almost all of the embedded correspondents. Let's see how we're doing this here. We have right to the right of me, the longest running embedded correspondent from Texas, Doug Scheiding, right there, tipping his cap. And then right to the right of Doug is the second longest running correspondent from Michigan and executive producer of the Best Moments Barbecue Central Show in 10 Minutes Left, John Solberg. And below Doug, sitting in studio, the pitmaster of Go Big or Go BBQ, Aaron Huntleman, is in. However, we seem to be missing a Rusty Monson from the great city of Utah. I have sent out text messages. I have sent out emails. I have also started praying to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ to make sure that Rusty is okay and that nothing has happened to him. So I have a feeling that maybe he will show up or maybe he won't. In fact, we will start right with this question tonight. Doug, 100% yes or 100% no, Rusty Monson at some point during this segment will show up?
He will show up, yes.
John, yes or no?
100% yes. He's going to slide in here.
Aaron Huntleman, 100% yes or 100% no, Rusty Monson will show up at some point during this segment.
I'll go yes.
Yes. All right. It's not unanimous. He's not. If he's not in now, he's not. Oh, damn it!
Oh, yes!
Look at
it!
Got him.
Yes!
Rusty, 100% yes or 100% no, Rusty Monson will show up before the segment ends, yes or no?
100% no. He's here.
Yes. Well,
here, but
look,
not.
Hopefully you didn't hear it, but I was the naysayer, and then as soon as I got done saying it, you jumped right in. Because I figured, look, if Rusty has never missed, maybe once, but he's had like advance notice. So I thought for sure, if you're not here now, something has gone on, perhaps something tragic like what happened down in New Orleans, which we'll never talk about again. And if you weren't in the beginning, you're not going to be in ever, but then you jumped right in. So happy to have you. What do you have a reason for being tardy that you want to tell us about?
I put in the calendar as next Tuesday. I don't know how to count to 4.
There is a bonus Tuesday in this month. So this is where, like, when they tell you to take out your house payment every week, this is where the principal payment starts to catch up. So, all right. So 100% Assurity questions. Rusty and I were both wrong on Rusty not showing up, which is weird that Rusty got that wrong, but whatever. We are here. Oh, wait, sorry. Before we get going, for proper introductions, Aaron, you meet Rusty just to the left of you as you're looking. That's Doug above you. That's John, caddy corner top right. I don't know, John, have you ever met Rusty or have you ever met Aaron in person down at Hartville by chance, or was that before?
I have not.
Not yet.
Has anybody met Aaron by chance?
No.
Nobody. All right. No Rusty, no Doug. Here we go. All right, so we're going to do 100% Assurity questions. Aaron, you know the drill here, so we're going to go through here. You were telling me either 100% yes or 100% no, and if it requires, since we changed the rules since last month, we will start to drill down on thought process and reasonings behind our answer. So let's play. Doug, we'll start with you. 100% yes or 100% no, griddle cooking sooner than later will command 40% of the market, like Roger Daly from Blackstone says.
No.
John.
100% no.
Rusty, 100% yes or 100% no. Griddle cooking sooner than later will command 40% of the market, like Roger Daly from Blackstone says.
4,000% no.
4,000%. That's a huge no from Rusty. Usually Mr. Positivity. Aaron, yes or no?
4,001% no.
All right. I see we're doing a little prices writing on it. I will go 4,002% no. And we also have a unanimous decision, not a, what did I say? It was a majority, like incorrectly the last
majority.
We have a unanimous decision here this evening. While I would love to believe that Roger's enthusiasm could ring true, I think that's just a huge number to get over on the top of. We'll go to the next one. John, you're next. 100% yes or 100% no. Generally speaking, pizza ovens will largely be done with popularity by the end of 2023, yes or no?
Coin toss, 100% yes, they will be done.
All right. Doug, 100% yes or 100% no. Pizza ovens will largely be done with popularity by the end of 2023. Yes or no?
I'm going no on that one.
We're already split here, which I love. Aaron, yes or no on the pizza ovens losing popularity by the end of the year?
I think they're going no.
No? Starting to get a majority here. Rusty, yes or no?
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Peace.
We're back to a 50-50 split, which means it's all up to me. I'm going no. I believe that pizza ovens still have at least a year left. I'm interested, Rusty, why do you think they will lose popularity?
Because at first they're really cool. Like you even want to take the 3 days to make your dough out or go, make it. And it's really fun. But then you do it a couple times. Man, I got to make this pizza dough. I got to do all this shit. And then you're just like, I don't want to do it. And you just flip your Traeger on and you cook a steak. That's how it goes.
But doesn't somebody realize that after they get over their nerddom, they can also buy a product like Barbecue Bob Trudnak has, or that Matt Frampton makes, where you just have to mix water with their ready-made to go and then wait a couple hours. And now it's ready to go.
But then people don't know how to make pizza. So they're putting lots of cheese, lots of greasy things, and the inside's all doughy. And then they think they suck at it and they quit. So you'd have to really be like someone who's really, I'm going to do this. And I think there's not a lot of many people out there like that. Too many people like 80 pounds of sausage on their pizza,
Aaron, do you agree with Rusty's mindset?
Yeah, because I have a pizza oven and I don't feel like making pizzas.
What kind of pizza oven you got?
The cheap Walmart charcoal one. I mean, it works. It gets up to like 600 some degrees and everything. But I think like the Blackstone one is where things will go, where you have like the propane like in the turntable, where it makes it easier and there's less guesswork on that side. It gives you more time to do the other side of it.
John, do you think Rusty is marginalizing the greater general public for being a bunch of dopes?
Not at all, because my pizza face lasted about a year for just on that very same thing. And we don't even want to get into the fact that, griddles are going to take the market away from the pizza oven. So you got that going against it.
Are you saying that you couldn't, I don't believe you couldn't make a good pizza. You got bored with it, you mean?
I can crush pizza.
Yeah.
I got a kettle pizza, so I'm doing it on a substandard unit from 2016. But at some point you're just like, okay, I'm done with this. I'll just go to making pita bread. Oh, that's good for a while and it's fun. And then you go like, okay, I'm just done with this altogether. Kettle pizza goes on the shelf. It's been there for 5 years. I was done with it.
Doug, you agree with Rusty?
No. Oddly enough, I had someone on Monday tell me that their pizza dome was
name this
kind of
person.
An entry level. No, I'm not going to name the person.
No names, please.
No names, please. No names,
right.
please. His pizza oven was his entry level, and he wanted to learn barbecue after that. So he was using it as an entry into barbecue.
What kind of a pizza oven did he have?
I think it was an uni.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm just I guess I'm in a little bit of a disagreement with Rusty in the fact that I have been making pizzas now with my Green Mountain Grill pizza oven insert, which according to Rusty and John and Aaron, I should have lost interest 4 years ago, when I first got it. It opened a whole new avenue for me to make pizzas. Everybody in the house seems to like it. I've never, ever gone through a phase of wanting to make my own dough, cold ferment it for 4 days, put sugar cubes on it and all this other bullshit. I go to the Heinen's up the street. I get the ready-made dough balls, cut them in half, put them in my Tupperware, let it go for, 4 hours, whatever, somewhere where it's warm so they expand. And then everybody makes their pizza. It's done in 3 minutes. Put your own shit on it. Nobody overloads it because we've learned the right way to do it. And everybody loves it. We don't do it all the time. But in the summer, we might do it once every other week on a Saturday, bring the boyfriends over, and it seems to be an enjoyable experience. So I think we'll probably see a lesser number of freestanding pizza ovens coming to market through the course of the next, 4 months, so 16 months as the next year ends. But I don't think the popularity of it is growing yet. Yes, Doug?
Solo Stove just came out with their own product for a pizza, their own pizza oven, and the unnamed person was late to my meeting on Monday because he was practicing which dough he was going to make for a party he was hosting this weekend of people coming in cooking on the pizza oven.
So this is a guy we need to track because it will prove either I'm right or Rusty's right. That in 4 months from now, this guy's not going to want to do any of that bullshit, and that oven is going to be up for sale on Craigslist for $138.
Then I'll buy it.
All right. Next question, Rusty. The next big backyard cooking craze is going to be these Brazilian cage-looking things where you hang everything off hooks on what appears to be some type of fencing that you're seeing all over social media these days. Yes or no?
God, I hope so, but no.
Oh, see, look what you did. I hate when I do that. It sounds so unprofessional. Aaron, do you think the Brazilian craze that you're seeing on Instagram right now is going to be the next big backyard craze?
No.
John?
I'm taking that. Yes, it's gonna be just cause it should be. I don't. Rusty's halfway there going. He wants it to be, but it's not. But I'm going with yes.
All right. I thought that laugh was the laugh of did you watch barbecue television laugh, which we all know the answer to that is Doug. 100% yes or 100% no. The next big backyard craze is going to be the Brazilian cage cooking where you hang everything off of what looks like fencing.
I'm going with Aaron. I'm saying no.
And Rusty, too. So we have now, I don't know what the percentages are with 5 people. That throws everything off mathematically for me. For me, let's see. No. Look, I watch these Instagram stories, and first of all, it seems like I have to be adept at erecting shit, which is an effective non-start for me because I'm going to hang something on there. It's going to fall down to the ground, or I'm going to catch the shed on fire. Who knows? Then you have these big, huge open pit fires. But I feel like, John, this is like your wheelhouse. You have an iron cross for you to hang like whole cows on and goats or whatever the hell, right? That's your deal.
Yeah, I certainly have had this phase. You know, my asado cross. I will tell you the best pork ribs I have ever cooked in my life are off an asado cross.
Really?
Absolutely, hands down. Yeah. It's like hanging out there in midair. A lot of work, pain in the butt. I don't know that it really will be the next trend. I'm sticking with it because it's like, just go get Francis Mallman's 7 Fires and change your life for a minute.
Rusty, do you want to set up something like that in your backyard where you're hanging all sorts of fruit and vegetables and meat primals and all that?
You know, I was looking at Tuffy Stone's post today, and he was showing
right.
And he had like 15 different whole pineapples, not even sliced up. I'm like, how are these cooking, first of all?
I know.
And second of all, that's just a lot, man. I remember M Girls had an Apache. I wanted it really, really bad, and it was a really compact version of that. And I think it's a really cool thing to learn. It's something to know and something to get I would love to do it. But it's just like you said, it's like the barbecuers Lincoln Logs, it's just a little bit much right now. So there's too many parts to buy, too many things you have to do, and you kind of have to commit, to learning it and commit to building it. There's a lot to it.
I remember when I was at the HPB Expo, I was talking with Joey Machado, who was pimping his charcoal brand, but then he also has a line of cookers that he manufactures. He's got a pretty nice offset pit, and then he had this really large Santa Maria style grill, but then attached to the Santa Maria style grill was the caging, and he had all that shit hanging off of it that Rusty was just talking about in the Tuffy Stone video that he was talking about. And he had, and my mind is like, okay, well, you're getting away with some of this because for whatever reason, at the end of March in Kentucky, it's 30 degrees outside. So you're saving yourself from the food potentially getting nasty. And then outside of that, aren't you running in? Isn't there a possible safety issue with that? If you're not running a hot enough fire to like keep cooking the meat, and if the wind is blowing, isn't the heat moving away from some of that shit? So it's really not cooking. I don't even know if it even looks that cool. It just looks like a headache to me. But it appears that some people think it should be a trend, but we all agree that's probably. Did we all agree? John was the lone holdout. He thought that is going to be a thing. John's going to be wrong on that one, unfortunately, as history will dictate, but that's all right. Aaron, we'll go with you. 100% yes or 100% no. Have you ever seen a competition season in KCBS yield so many 700-plus scores than the one that they are giving out this year?
I haven't.
Rusty, have you ever seen a competition season in KCBS yield so many 700-plus scores than what we are seeing this year? Yes or no?
No, but it's fucking great.
We're going to get back to that. John, yes or no?
I have not. No, I have not seen it.
Doug, yes or no?
No, and it's effing terrible.
I believe we have our next unanimous decision here, which is no. And I'm with Doug. Well, I'm not with Doug, but I'm not with Rusty, and I'll wait to weigh in here in just a second. Aaron, what's your thought on the amount of 700-plus?
You can't complain about judging and then get excited about the 700 pluses. I mean, I think there's too many seven. I mean, that's a lot of 700.
Have you had 700s?
No.
Close?
No.
Rusty, why is it effing awesome?
We started this whole thing. Everyone's like 10, 10, 10s, give everyone a good score. And then all of a sudden we had this weird change where start at 7 and go up and down, And so there's this whole thing where people are just starting at a 7. It's really hard to move them off. Everyone complains about, the judging not being good. And then finally some of the judges the reps are going around saying, listen, guys, like, don't be douchebags. Like, really try to, do your best, start with the 10 and just make them, knock you down. Don't start at a 7 and make them knock you up. And I think that's such a cool way of doing it because it should be fun. And as someone who competes and judges, I do judge harsher, I would say, now that I'm a competitor and judger. I know a lot of people are opposite, but I think you should try your hardest. But at the same time, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to try really, really hard to, score that well and be optimistic, because in the end, we spend a lot of money. And if you get like a 701 to someone's 708, you're going home pretty happy. You may not have won, and you might take 5th place with that 701, which is weird. But
I think that's 722.
Yeah, and that's cool, man. I think that's a cool way of looking at stuff. It's more optimistic, makes people feel better about competition barbecue. And honestly, I think a lot of it was the judging and how low the judging was. It was really turning people off, and they were really getting disappointed. And it was just hard to put $1,200 into a competition. You're just going to get, just killed on, So I think it's great.
John, you have any drill down answers to that or extra thoughts?
I just think it'll be a change agent. So if it'll go on, it'll drive change. Everybody gets 700, something will have to change.
Doug, why does it suck?
Because it's promoting everybody to cook the same. And, if we want to give participation trophies, why don't we just, when you check in, you get your participation trophy, and then everyone's happy and you can get your 700 pin, and then we'll all just grade from 700 to 740 or whatever that goes to.
And they're buying the cheater chicken thighs too.
Yeah, exactly.
But Doug, we don't think that's cheating, right? We like that. That's all right.
No, I don't have a problem with it. No, I don't have a problem with it.
Here's my issue. I don't know why I'm saying issue. Here's my talking point on the amount of 700s that are going out this year. By the way, please let the record show I've never competed once. I have no interest in competing. Fuck competition. 700 to me has always been a plateau of excellence. To cross over the 700-point threshold, like rarely, if ever, happened when the show started. Rarely, if ever, happened as the show was really getting legs and getting through half of its life. And now, 15-plus years into the show in 2023, if you just show up, I'm being a broad stroker here, but there's a really good chance that every weekend a competition is taking place across this country this year, there's going to be multiple 700-plus scores. We're not talking like 700.8. As Aaron said, 722, 748, 710, 713. This has been a score that has been reserved for the elite of the elite. You have had to have had your best cook ever and then some, You're awarded the 700 pin, and then the pin like meant something. And now it appears to be given out like free candy at the 5 and dime in the 1960s. I don't know what the hell that analogy means, but it seems to be watering down the value of 700 for that many 700s to get going. However, we will look to see, as John said, if that pushes to be a change. In fact, it looks like the KCBS current president, Stan from Rub My Rack Barbecue, is in the chat. So, Stan, you're hearing what we're talking about, and now we demand an answer only through chat because I have no way of bringing you in through voice. Let's stop here just for a second. We have some more questions to get to, and we'll do that here in just 1 second. Oh, well, I believe I'm all caught up. How about that? All right. Well, this will be very quick. But Stan, I'm not calling you out. You're just in the chat. I can see you. You should use the pseudonym if you don't want me to see what your name is. You'd be like S. Dobo, and then I would never know who it was. But Stan, you have to have a take on the number of 700 scores that are going out, right? Rusty thought it's great. Doug didn't think it was so great. I just think that it's odd there's that many over the life of how long I've ever been watching KCBS. Your input is encouraged and appreciated. All right, we'll go back and finish out our Assurity questions here right after this. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show right here on the Barbecue Central Network. Stick around. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Whole packers, full racks, legs and thighs, injecting butts. If you've never heard this before, you might think you found the best XXX show ever. Let's get back to the most homoerotic host out there today, Greg Rempe.
And we are back. Going to be racing through some of these leftover Assurity questions. Before we do that, because I didn't start out this way, we need to do the YouTube poll question of the week with everybody. Aaron has already weighed in on this. Doug, 100% yes or 100% no. Offset pits produce the best tasting barbecue you can eat.
No.
John?
No.
Rusty.
Like barbecue's one meat. No.
I mean, what the fuck is wrong with you guys? Of course, the answer is yes. Oh, my God. Doug, how can you say that? You own the Gator Pit. You ran Offset. It was the best barbecue you've ever made in your life. You told me so off air.
What are you talking about?
I'm just kidding. You never said that.
I was like,
you see, he's like, what? Oh, shit. Yeah, I'm just kidding.
What are you talking about?
All right. So we're still at a 50-50 deadlock in the YouTube chat. 50% saying yes, it is, and 50% saying no, it is not. And we have a few more Assurity questions to run through here. John, we go back to you. Given what we know at this very moment in time, Memphis in May, the barbecue contest, is dead.
From the heart, 100% no, it's not dead.
Aaron, dead, yes or no?
No.
Doug, dead, yes or no?
No.
Rusty?
It might be Texas in May, but it won't be dead.
I'm going to also make it another unanimous Assurity question. I say no. But I have an asterisk. Depending on, and it's a maybe, but depending on whatever it looks like next year, we're going to revisit this question. And it could be a unanimous decision in the opposite direction. So let's follow up on that just a little bit. Doug, let me go back to you. It appears there is no way in hell Memphis in May's president, James Holt, has said they're going to work on identifying new spots for Memphis in May, alternative to Tom Lee Park because of the construction, the exorbitant bill, blah, blah, blah. Where could it go? next year and be viable?
I looked at a couple of different venues in Memphis, and I actually liked the Royal when it was at Arrowhead Stadium, and that with combined with the Kansas City Royal Stadium. So that was my favorite. I don't like the Speedway because it's all broken up and it's hard to get from point A to point B. There's a couple of stadiums. There's a racetrack that they have called Riverside. Why can't they do it there? Or at it's another one called Simmons Bank Park or something that holds 53,000. So the parking lot is probably big enough. The Houston Rodeo is held at NRG Stadium, and it takes up the entire parking lot. And that is the party amongst all parties for barbecue. And it's not by the river. You can't see Jack. And it's all tent city. And you have a bunch of people, 200,000 people come every night and drink.
John, where do you think it could go?
Cross the river to West Memphis, Arkansas, because they're jonesing to get that thing over there, I'm sure.
Are they?
Wouldn't you be if you're West Memphis in the shadow of Memphis, but you're just across the bridge?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, you'd be all over that.
Aaron, where do you think it should
Good
go?
answer.
Anywhere but Tom Lake Park, it sounds like. I don't really have an idea of what's down in Memphis.
Rusty, where do you think it should go?
Never been, but somewhere else.
Like it has to stay alive.
Yeah, it has to. It's there's the big three. There's the Royal, there's the Jack, and there's Memphis in May. And I think that it's too iconic to go anywhere. It needs to stay in Memphis. And I think that it will. It's just too much of a thing not to just all of a sudden go away. It would have to fade away eventually and not just burn out because it's too big, and they will find a way to do it.
I don't know the geography down there where it could go. The place they had it last year, Tiger Alley, Tiger Lane, whatever they called it, that seemed to be able to accommodate, but it seemed to also be a money loser. And I think that's the biggest issue that this whole thing is going to face, is wherever it goes, is there going to be revenue generation? Is it going to be financially viable to do at whatever new place it's going to be? I don't think they want to get into a situation where it's going to start moving locations year after year after year, and where it takes 6 or 7 years to find a new home. I don't know. Maybe they do, and they can make it work until they find a viable permanent home. But I think that's going to be the biggest issue, is finding a spot that is going to make money, or at least enough to keep it going in order to keep the event itself going. And Tiger Lane or Tiger Alley didn't seem to be a viable option. It was just a holdover until the park got done. By the way, let me ask a follow-up question to this. Does anybody believe that the CEO of Memphis River Parks Partnership and Memphis in May had any type of consultation where River Parks built Tom Lee Park the way that Memphis in May wanted it? Doug, do you believe that?
Continuing with all my answers, no, I don't believe that.
John, do you believe that?
No, I do not.
Rusty, do you believe there was a collaboration between the two to make Tom Lee Park the way that Memphis in May wanted it?
Apparently not, because it obviously couldn't have been at a worse spot.
Aaron, yes or no?
No.
I can't believe it. It's outrageous. That's another unanimous. We're on a roll tonight, guys. I mean, this is great. I never want this segment to end. Aaron, you've brought new energy and luck and camaraderie. I mean, usually Rusty's bringing us all together, but secretly Aaron is a Rusty in person here in Cleveland, Ohio.
Yeah.
Follow-up question. You feel the quote of $1.4 million in change for repairs is inflated. Doug, yes or no?
Yes, I do.
John, yes or no?
That you can't call that from our seat. I mean, someone who dabbles in building things for a day job. I mean, what's the scope? I got to see it. We got to look at it, and it's really tough to inflate anything construction-wise these days. You're going to go get bids. You're going to develop a scope. It's going to come back, and then you take it from there. So it's hard to say.
So is that yes or no?
I'm going to say no. It's not inflated. And if we're talking about the price of rebuilding it, we're talking out our ass.
Rusty, yes or no?
Yeah, it cost me $400,000 to have someone come and put a patch on my sidewalk, so I think that's not inflated.
Not inflated. Aaron, do you think that the bill is inflated? Yes or no?
No, I think it's where it probably is.
Right. I also agree with everybody but Doug. Not inflated. And to my understanding, Memphis River Parks, there seems to be a lot of clauses and supplements into this whole contract. I haven't seen the whole contract, but that this is all part of the deal. There was going to be damage. There was a third-party contractor that was agreed upon in the contract that was going to be brought in. There were going to be estimates given. We've seen estimates, $500,000 for concrete, $300,000 or $400,000 for asphalt, $200,000 for grass or whatever it was, $80,000 for irrigation. I don't have any idea how much that costs. It appears to be very expensive, to the tune of 1.4, or after the deposit, $675,000, and that is encouraging enough for Memphis May to want to go look somewhere else for that. Next follow-up question. Oh, I already asked, so that's it. We'll go to the last Assurity question, and we'll go back to Rusty. Rusty, 100% yes or 100% no in the past month. Rusty has seen. Wait.
Yeah, you can.
Let's go to Aaron. Aaron, 100% yes or 100% no. In the past month, Rusty has seen the Barbie movie. Yes or no?
No.
John, yes or no?
Rusty doesn't have time to light a smoker. I'm going to go with 100% no. He doesn't have time for a movie.
All right, John or Doug, 100% yes or 100% no. In the past month, Rusty has seen the Barbie movie.
Yes, that's why he was late tonight.
I'm going to go before Rusty this time, which I would normally not do. Okay. Sorry. Trigger finger there. I agree with Doug. I believe in the past month, Rusty has seen it. He was just gangbusters excited about potentially seeing this for any number of reasons last month. And without any further ado, we go to our pal Rusty. Rusty, 100% yes or 100% no. And we should be laying live action on this so somebody could make money. In the past month, Rusty has seen the barbecue movie, yes, or Barbie movie, yes, 100% yes or 100% no.
Have I seen the future Academy Award winner for Best Picture, Screenplay, Actor, and Supporting Actor? No, I have not seen it. Like John said.
Rusty,
I haven't had time to light my smoker. Bro, I work from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. 6 days a week, sometimes 7. I don't have time to watch movies, man.
Yeah, but I take 3 or 4 naps a day, and I still had time to squeeze it in.
You get off like what, 6? I remember, what do you work, 40 hours? I remember my first part-time job, bro. Come on.
40 hours a week. I'm in truck sales. I get up at 9, 10 in the morning. I get in the office at 10. I'm out by 10:30. Couple naps. Dinner at 4. Again at 5. So, I still squoze in the Barbie movie. It was great.
I can't wait to see it, though. That's true. I'm really excited about it. The next thing I'm going to do is that, for sure.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. For sure. So next time we have this question, we should ask it again, because it might be a
different. Every month.
How about this?
Month.
Doug, 100% yes or 100% no. Rusty will have seen the Barbie movie by this time next month.
I'm going to say no.
Oh, he switched his answer. John, yes or no?
No, he doesn't have time in the next 30 days to see that movie.
Aaron, yes or no?
No.
I think in spite of us, yes. Rusty, 100% yes or 100% no. In the next month, you will see the Barbie movie, yes or no?
100% yes.
Well, we have it on tape, so we will see how that ages. And, all right, let's ask this question. This is a Doug Scheiding question, by the way. So if you don't like it, take it up with him at Doug@RowCookers.com. What's the proper way to count world championships, overall grand championships, or is it first place at one of the big 4 and or World Food Championships, or self-proclaimed Podunk USA World Championship? Let me rejumble this question. Is a world championship own the overall winner? Is that where you start counting world championships or grand championships? Or can you get away with saying, I won the grand championship in the pork category at XYZ competition, and that counts as grand championships? Do you have to win the whole thing, or can you count grand championships per meat segment as well? John, what do you think?
This is nebulous. Like.
Yes, but so here's the deal, and I think this is what Doug was driving at. And if I'm wrong, Doug, jump in and say you listen to some people on the internet now proclaiming all of this success, and then you start to do a little bit of digging, or you start talking with folks, and it's not overall wins, overall GCs. It is now they're counting. I won pork at Timbuktu's barbecue competition, and they're counting that as a grand champion in the pork category, or beef, or whatever.
Well, and who's sanctioning body and what part of the world? And like, are we going sanctioning body by sanctioning body? Are we going World Food Champions is over here? Nothing to do with it. It's, they're a marketing company. Their job is to create a reality of a world champion. So we're talking about world championships. Is it by sanctioning body? Where are we going here?
Doug, where are we going?
Here's the point.
Yeah.
Here's Memphis in May, American Royal, Houston Rodeo, the Jack. If people win the rib category, the brisket category, they're counting that as a world championship. That to me is winning a category. It's not winning the overall event. And so therefore it's not a world championship.
Doug,
that is my point.
John, you agree with that?
I agree with Doug 100%.
I'm sorry, I don't know how to explain things very well. I'm a sales guy by trade and a talk show at night. Forgive me. I'm really out of my depths. Rusty, do you agree with Doug?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I don't buy that at all.
Oh, okay.
Come on.
World championship? Yes. You shouldn't be able to say that, but it's cool to say that you're the world champion of ribs. That's cool. That's cool. Like, let's just have fun.
Why not just say I won the rib category at the Jack? Not I'm the world championship rib category.
Championship competition, which by the way is kind of weird because it just has to be a championship that involves people from other countries, which at this point we are like the NBA dream team of the 90s beating up on these people. But it's fine. They'll catch up. But I just hate the world championship thing. I know, but I hate the world championship thing in general. But if you're going to do it, hell yeah, man. I mean, you're the world champion rib cook. Take it. Let's roll.
So if the title of the event, so if I host a barbecue, Aaron, if you host the Mr. Brisket World Steak Championship in Cleveland, and there's an ancillary beans category, and somebody wins the beans, can they say they're a world champion because world title is in the name?
Well, as an ancillary, yes. But I think if you're all four meats are being competed and then you're funneling into a top 10 out of those four meats, I think you can't. Your top 10 is your top 10 for everything.
So you agree that you can't be the world champ in a category. You're the world champ if you win the whole damn thing.
Yeah. As the reigning WGRR world's best burger champion, it was only one contest.
I'm in agreement with Doug. I don't think you should be claiming to be world champion in category. If you don't win the whole thing, then you're not the world champion. You're whatever place you're at, or you won that particular category at that particular championship. There are international teams. A lot of the, I'm going to speak out of school here a little bit, but perhaps some of these things that are labeled as world championships maybe don't also include a lot of the world. So, like NBA saying it's a world title, the NBA world championship. It's not really including the world per se. So just my 2 cents on that. Let's go ahead and make sure that we have enough time for promotion here. So I'll stop the music before interrupting me before I forget. John, what's coming up in your world that you would like to promote or tell us about before we get out of here this evening?
As always, make sure you check out Friday, the best moments of the Barbecue Central show in 10 minutes or less. Make sure you head to the podcast feed and subscribe to get that.
296 episodes getting ready to launch on Friday, if you can believe it or not. Doug, what are you up to on promotion stuff?
Oh, I want to say, hope everyone listens to the Baseball and Barbecue, and I hope they have the huevos to play your congratulatory speech.
Are you on the? Are you just pumping the barbecue podcast or baseball and barbecue?
Yeah,
or are you hosting?
I'll have something similar to yours, but
okay.
yeah, I'm not actually on it or anything like that. I'm on a different one with Phil Wingo, probably in a couple 2-3 weeks.
All right, Rusty, what are we promoting besides sleep and wanting to see the Barbie movie?
You can listen to the Pitmasters podcast. I will be back hopefully shortly on there. Anthony's been winging it himself. God bless him. And I will be hopefully getting back into that more frequently. But you can listen to the Pitmasters podcast anywhere you get podcasts.
Aaron, what are you promoting tonight?
Locally, we have our wine spot pop-up for our first barbecue event on September 7th. And Mr. Brisket just became the brisket sponsor for the KCBS contest here in Wadsworth, Ohio on October 13th and 14th.
All right, so we'll look forward to that. It is Aaron Huntleman from Go Big or Go BBQ right there, and then we have Rusty Monson from the great city of Utah next to him, and then John Solberg from the great state of Michigan, the second longest running embedded correspondent and executive producer of the best moments of the Barbecue Central Show in 10 minutes or less, and of course Doug Scheiding, the longest running embedded correspondent out of the great state of Texas. Always appreciate the time, boys, and we will see you again in September. Fun, fabulous. Aaron, as we draw to a close here this evening, your thoughts on how the whole live production comes off?
You create magic over here.
Well, it's guests like you and Rusty and
it was a good
Derrick
time.
And John and Doug. I mean, we're all parts, right?
I'll run away less when I deliver more meat.
That's right. Well, good. May stop by, have a quick conversation, not too long because, very important, very self-important.
Lots of naps.
Yeah, but other than, yes, as you could tell, I have plenty of naps. I don't need to go through any of this other stuff here in the production role, so we'll just get ready to head on out all the way back in the first hour. Who was it? That guy.
Me.
Aaron Huntleman, Go Big or Go BBQ, Go Big or Go BBQ.com, the website for products and see what else he's up to. And then after Aaron's in-studio interview, we had Derrick Riches from DerrickRiches.com. And we closed out the second hour with the embedded correspondents, Doug Scheiding, John Solberg, and Rusty Monson. Don't forget that Aaron will be trying to back up that championship from last year at the 2022 Hartville Hardware Grillfest with the 2023 Hartville Hardware Grillfest coming up on September 23rd. So if you're around town for that, we'd love to see you. I'll be emceeing. Mike Lang will be cooking. Captain Ron will be cooking on the Big Green Egg, and BBQ will be cooking on the Traeger, and all sorts of deals and other nonsense going on at the Hartville Hardware Grillfest. Again, that's September 23rd. Big show planned for you next week. In fact, I can say with 100% confidence that September is 100% booked already, and the month hasn't even started yet. And half of October, for crying out loud. So we're packing up big times, big guests coming up. This I can tell you. So how do I always leave you? September 11th, 2001. I will never forget. And until next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern, this is your program host and proud U.S. American, Greg Rempe. Good night now.
What's up? This is JM, host of the Celebrity Grill podcast on iTunes, and you're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Network. All barbecue and grilling, all the time.